I've been running over 20 years, and at this point I've got maybe 20 trainers, and I am absolutely convinced, 100%, 90%, 85% convinced that running form and running technique don't really have as much to do with injury as you might think when it comes to trainers. Now, these are the Hoka Mach 6. The heel has 37 millimeters of foam, the toe 32. That gives the Hoka a 5 millimeter drop. Now, let's compare that to this of the Reebok Float Ride 5. The heel 27 millimeters, the toe 19 millimeters. That gives it an 8 mil drop. Let's talk a little bit about drop. Drop alters your running gait. It alters your running technique. So you could go to a shop and have a gait analysis or try and run on your toes or your midfoot. If you change the drop of your shoe without getting too scientific, the higher the drop, the less the calf is being used. The higher the drop, 8 mil, the less the calf is being used. So therefore, your run, for me, if I was to go on an hour easy run, would be completely different to this. But here is where it differs. Over the past 18 months, when I've been running in these, now I've been a Reebok fanboy. Those of you that watch this channel will know Reebok Float Ride has been a goat on my channel. But I've started noticing like a pain on the outer hip. And I never really put it down to these because I run in them all the time. These have an 8 mil drop, Hoka Mach 6. I've run in these exclusively for over 250 miles. Not one hip pain, not one bit, not one tiny bit. Nada, nil, zero. But this is 5 mil. And this is 8 mil drop. How do you explain that one, Lee? Well, it's all about the foam. This has 37 mil, 10 millimeters more in the heel than the Reebok Float Ride. This is much lighter. It's a much more cushioned, responsive and smooth ride. Whilst I was a Reebok fanboy, and the bargain price of 75 quid is still hard to beat. Bye-bye. The Hoka Mach 6 after 250 miles. This is an everyday shoe. I've used it on the trails. I ran a marathon in it last week in Bristol, on the road. I've used it for easy runs. I've used it for recovery runs, long runs, tempo runs, hill sprints, you name it, I've used it for. Let's have a little look how it's coped after 250 miles. The wear on these shoes are very surprising. Those of you that know Hoka will know ordinarily they don't really build to last. But if you have a look at the rubber outsole there, after 250 miles, it's still looking in an astonishing shape. There's a little bit of wear there on the outer part of the foot. But as I said, and on the forefoot there, I use these for everything. Trail, forestry, road, hill sprints. They've done everything. And to be fair, they are still as responsive now as they were when I first had them. There's no tear. All right, these are meant to be orange, but there's no tearing in the upper. It all looks solid. The heel cushioning's still there. The tongue is still intact. The laces are still good. I just wanted to interrupt this video to ask you to drop a comment down below. Does anybody else have the Hoka Mach 6? And what would be a equivalent for the trail for my upcoming race in October, 100k on the Jurassic Coast? Leave a comment down below. And I'm not quite sure what shoe I'm going to purchase or where. I think this is the Hoka XTR Challenger. They really haven't held up as well as the Mach, but they're still a great shoe. But I think I'm going to go for the Mafate, but I am going to purchase another pair of these for my training because I do a lot of road miles. I don't know what I'm going to do with all my videos of Reebok on my channel. I've been shouting for Reebok from the rooftops. I went for one run in these yesterday. One run for an hour. Easy. My whole running dynamics are different. The ground contact, the feeling on the floor, and my hip started hurting straight away after about 40 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everybody that recommended the Reebok Float Ride. Yes, it's cheap. Yes, it's a good entry-level shoe, but I'm sorry. This is the new king in town, the Hoka Mach 6. What am I going to do with all these Reebok videos? I might just start a new channel. Anyway, as always, run strong, rest well, and I'll see you on the trails.